Well, I'm out here at the lake. Could be at home in my shop relaxing, but instead I've been forced into a high stress environment. I'm not very happy about it, but the wife says it'll be good for me, so I guess I have to grin and bear it. Bloody atrocious.
Well, that's the outside for you, but at least that's over with. So, been a little bit slack on the video front of late, and that's because I'm just a bit swamped right now. There's a lot going on. And frankly, filming everything that I'm doing and editing it takes a huge amount of time. I'm of a mind with this Cincinnati to just finish the job without filming anymore. So if you have any comment to make about that, I'd be pleased to hear it. If you really want to see the rest of the fixing process, then I'll continue to film it, but it might just be a little slow coming. But we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. First of all, I want to remind you that the Indiana Model Show is coming up this very weekend, and myself and my good friend Jim will be heading down there, so we're looking forward to seeing all the excellent models on display, and no doubt shelling out a huge amount of cash for things that we don't really need. But that's what it's all about. Part of it anyway. So please take a look at the flyer, which I will put up now. Very good. Hope to see you there. Now, today's video, bit of a mishmash. I'd like to bring you up to speed on where the Cincinnati is, and we'll get into that shortly. I also have a new channel sticker to show you, and I'm sure you're all very familiar with this channel. And I've got some auction wins that I'd like to show off, to be honest. I don't often do that well at auctions. I sometimes pick up a few bits and pieces, but just recently I had a couple of really good finds I did very well on, so I'm going to show you those. So just a bit of a general update and mishmash of stuff, and hopefully after the model engine show I'll be able to really get back into finishing up the Cincinnati so that I can get on with my own model engine. Okay, so let's talk handles. So a while ago I bought a used vice crank handle for the Cincinnati in order to rotate the head and move the ram in and out. And I got it cheap because it was an old rusted up thing, but it was the right thing and it was the right era. Anyway, not long ago, on a whim, I thought I'd have a go at cleaning it up. Now, for many years, like 15 years, I've had this thing hanging around. And what it is, it's a buffing and polishing wheel. This was thrown out by a company that I used to work for because OSHA regulations wouldn't let them keep it because it has no guards over the polishing wheels, because you can't polish shit if you have a guard in front of the polishing wheel. Anyway, they couldn't keep it, so they threw it out, and I was placed well enough to find out when they were throwing things out. And so I had them throw it in the back of my pickup truck. Entirely legit. I got approval for it from management, everything. Anyway, I've had this hanging around for all that time thinking I'm bound to use it one day. And the day finally came. It's got this sort of lightly abrasive Scotch-Brite type wheel on it. And I don't really know much about polishing metals, but just on a whim, I had to go on this vice crank handle, and well, about 1 minute's worth of work and it came out super shiny. Net result, I cleaned it up and painted it. And I thought, well, that was easy. What if I were to do the crank handles? So I did. 2 minutes of work each, and these polished up lovely as well. So they got a coat of paint. All that I've got left to do is clean up the little handles and press them back in. So that's very pleasing, but this very nearly took me down a rabbit hole. I ended up taking off the side plates on this machine and cleaning them up, and they're going to get a coat of paint as well, mainly to deal with the nasty coat of paint the machine got when someone refurbished it, which probably means an equipment dealer bought it and just slapped paint on it to make it look better. That had me thinking, why don't I take the table off and check everything under that, and maybe the knee? And at this point, sanity prevailed, and I said, no! So I'm not going to do that, because I know that the table is running straight, and I know it's flat, and I know it doesn't have a lot of play in it. So right now I'm just not going to screw with that. I'm going to finish up the tasks at hand and get the mill back into service and start cutting metal with it. There is, however, another issue. I discovered that the wiring, as you can see, has been chewed a little bit. When I took this apart, I did find evidence of squirrels. I actually found evidence of squirrels, nuts and stores and things up around the motor, and they've chewed at it a bit. So I have to address this. What I think I can do is pick away some of the potting compound and insulation back here, solder splice in some replacement wires, and then pot this back up, and I think I can recover this. So I'm not too worried about it. Next thing, sheaves. I learned recently that V-belt pulleys are actually called sheaves. Well, they are in America anyway, and I'd never come across that before. I'm always pleased to learn correct terminology. Anyway, I have been working on the repair of these, and I've welded on some material which I've started cleaning up. And so this is kind of the major focus right now, is just getting these back into good working condition. But if you would like to see that process, then I will continue filming it. In the meantime, I did shoot just a little bit of footage of the welding and attempted some close-up arc shots. So let's take a look at those. I do not profess to be a good welder, because I know in fact that I'm not. Nevertheless, I had a lot of fun. It was quite difficult to do, and to get the proper penetration into the joint that I wanted took a lot of effort, and I ended up with this massive melt through, akin to the Chernobyl elephant's foot, if you've ever seen any pictures of that, and frankly about as dramatic. When you TIG weld aluminium, you pour the heat into it, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and then all of a sudden it sinks in and it's running away, and you're pouring metal into it, pushing filler rod in, trying to keep it under control, and you end up with a globular mess like that. when you're a complete novice. The good part about that is that I definitely melted all the way through, so the joint should actually be pretty good. And that brings us neatly, or not so neatly, to channels and channel stickers. And I've been having some technical discussions with my new friend Dudley Toolrate around machining coolant and also, very interestingly, helium leak test fixtures. He recently made some fixtures for testing components, and that's something I've done a lot of in my career, so I was happy to have a little bit of an exchange with him about that. It was very, very good fun. Anyway, Dudley Toolrate has a really fun channel. I'm sure, as usual, a lot of you already know and are already subscribed to him, but if not, go check out his channel and please subscribe to him. He does a lot of tool reviews and does a lot of tool modifications and makes custom tools, among other things. But really, really great guy, excellent channel, and a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy watching his channel, so I think you will as well. This is really the prize of my recent tool acquisitions. This is a genuine Bison revolving chuck, essentially a tailstock chuck, and it has a MT3 Morse taper shank on it, and it's a 4-inch 3-jaw chuck. Now, it's an older one. I did check the date on it. It should be on the certificate here. Here we are, 2005, so not that old, June 2005. And I got this at auction from what looked like a farmer's workshop, and so it was a garage shop, and as a result that means suffered from a little bit of humidity, so there's just this little bit of patina here and on the shank, but nothing that renders it inoperable. It's completely smooth. I had the jaws out just to give that a clean up and inspect it, but it's in A1 condition. And I've got everything for it. I've got the inside jaws, the outside jaws. It's in great shape. And I picked this up for 1/5 of the cost of a brand new one. There is no way I would buy this. Absolutely no way. But at this price, I wasn't passing this up. This is less than a crappy import tailstock chuck, and I'm done buying those kind of things. They just haven't worked out well for me. So super happy to find this. Probably still going to go ahead and make my own version, because I might make one with a 4-jaw chuck and a slightly bigger diameter chuck. We'll see. But if I do that and that ends up being a really good tool, I might sell this on. I don't know, but what a find. Very happy with it. So I've got one last announcement to make, which is that I now have, very officially, I have balls of steel. Yes, I've always wanted balls of steel. From what I've seen, it's a life-changing thing. And at last I was able to get some. Here they are, and they're made by Fowler. A complete set. I won these at auction as well, for a fraction of the price new, and the set is complete. So look at that. As you may know, having a good set of gauge pins, gauge blocks, and also balls of steel can be hugely beneficial for setup and metrology applications in the shop. So this gauge ball set is sort of a lesser used item, but given the inexpensive price I was able to get it for, very happy to have it. So certainly my life has improved immensely since I got balls of steel, and I can't imagine how I was able to operate before. So hopefully you can all go out and get balls of steel as well. Brings a sense of adventure. So that's it for this video. Just a quick one and a quick update just to show you where things are at with the Cincinnati. I apologize for the lack of machining. It's been difficult to get time in the shop lately, so just doing what I can. This is a hobby anyway, this whole making of YouTube videos, so it's not, I haven't monetized the channel yet because I can't. They keep changing the requirements and that. And I don't know if I will anyway. I go backwards and forwards on that. I'm just doing it mostly to put out content for fun. And as usual, every time I put out a video, you know, in the last couple of weeks, easily 20 more home shop channels have popped up in my feed that have been there for a long time that just would never show up even when I searched for them. So increasingly I wonder whether it's even worth putting out content, because everything I do has been covered already by other people. But on the other hand, it's also quite a laugh. So with that, all the best to you. Hopefully have another video showing the machining of the sheaves if you're interested in the next couple of weeks. And then beyond that, should have the Cincinnati up and running, and then I'll be diving into the beam engine at last. So all the very best. May your surface finishes be chatter free and your dimensions in tolerance. Be seeing you.